Hi everybody, this is Paul Cooper, rocking and rolling, making some more videos. This video is going to focus on Mail Chimp. I may have to split it up due to length, but we'll see what we get done. I've hinted at some other videos. I think I've showed a few things, but we're going to just start a brand new campaign. I'll show you some basics on how to create an email template, and we'll go from there. Maybe get a few other things in, but let's start there. So you create your account, you're signed in. So we're going to, here's the campaigns deal area, and this is how you actually send out your email. You're going to create an email campaign. You can see here on my past ones. So, and I try to put a description in there that really helps me stay organized. So May newsletter 5/18/18. So I always put the date in that I sent it. That way, if I send out multiple ones with similar names, I'm not resending or sending out duplicates, because when I first started off I was having some issues with that and with uploading my lists. So I had some people on there that were getting like the same email 2 to 3 times basically, because they're on different lists for different campaigns but basically the same email, and so I had some drop rates there, and I don't blame them. I mean, that was probably really annoying getting that. Luckily, a guy kind of sent me a little bit of hate mail saying, hey, I can't afford to be seeing this thing 3 times a day, please remove me. He tried removing. So, I mean, he'd actually unsubscribed like 2 or 3 times, and he kept getting it because he was on different lists, and I felt just terrible. So I got that done. It's important. Spend some time with this, and there's some cool stuff. And we're not going to do this just this second. Let's cover on how to develop a template for an email first, and then we'll come back to this. There are a bunch of cool options, and it seems like every time I mess with it I learn something new, so it's good stuff. MailChimp, I believe it's free for up to 2,000 connections. I'm well past that. It's not expensive, folks. It's pretty cheap. I think I'm spending like $1.20 a month, something like that, on it. If I have to spend more, I'll spend more. It's only expensive if you're not using it. If you're using it even just a couple times a month, it's totally worth it. And I try to get out at least an email twice a month, if not every week. But again, don't be just sending out stuff to send out more crap. Make sure it's quality. So here are all my different templates. So here, let's go look at my first one, my basic. It's pretty gross. Okay, so this was my very first template. I didn't have a logo yet. I was just using this thing. I believe I created this at canva.com, which is a good free website to do some stuff like that. And there's, I think, photo.com is a good way to edit some other photos. So there's lots of free information out here. But it's very plain. The only color I have on here is a little bit of blue from here. This button going to my website. I've got my picture on there, so that's good. I've got the social links, but very bland. Don't get me wrong, if this is all you got, it's much better than nothing. So don't spend days or weeks trying to make the perfect email before you start contacting people. You don't want to freeze that way. So this is pretty straightforward. Drag and drop. You can edit this however you want. And but we'll start with a new one. Create a template. Alright, so they've got some featured ones that you can select and kind of customize, and they're pretty cool. It just depends on the business you're doing, what you want to have, how many photos, and then sometimes you get on these templates and they're not nearly as customizable as you'd want. This one here, Sophisticated, is kind of what I based my most recent ones off of. So I opened this up and I edited it, and it wasn't terrible. I eventually went back and it was able to do some more editing and created a brand new template, but this is what I used. I like the white and yellow on black. It really stands out. I hate looking at a predominantly white screen all day. It starts to hurt my eyes. And I think it makes the pictures pop, especially if they've got lighter colors in it. and just really anything looks pretty good on it. But you make sure to find one that you like. But so if you're doing a template that's not brand new, then it's pretty easy, folks. You just click on it, go in, you type whatever you want, and you see the yellow line here changed. And then we've got that. You can change the styles, the fonts, size. I mean, if you're familiar with Windows or any type of Office or some type of writing-based software, it's very straightforward. So you got content. There's different style options. So you can select different fonts there, sizes, colors. Italicize, bold it, the alignment, line height, and then you can, if you have something you really like, you can go apply it to all your text boxes. Different settings here for the columns, column 1, 2. Then hyperlink, so you can add addresses so if people can click on your writing. And I believe this should, we'll go ahead and try it. We'll just do Google. Yep, so that'll put it in and it'll underline it as well. And I believe it turns it yellow with this setup. So it should stand out. You can do the same thing with pictures. You can double click on those. I think I covered this in another video, but you can link to that. So you don't have to start from scratch if you don't want to. Alright, so let's get back to the templates here. We'll create one. So a bunch of different options on what you want to do. And like this one here, I basically edited this for my St. Patrick's Day and changed that around to put out. Had a bunch of little dumb jokes in there. People seem to like it pretty well. I used this one here for Valentine's Day, since it had the nice kind of pinkish red background. I was able to delete the photos. So you got right here, you've got the color and the image. You can upload different images. Let's see what that does. So now we've changed that background image. You can even clear it if you want. And that's why I ended up doing. I just used the colors and went through and edited this. All right. Let's go make a brand new basic template. So we're not even going to use a theme. We're just going to select a layout. Let's see what we got here. So this, let's see. So you've got ones with different columns, simple text. Don't send this. You're basically sending someone a book to read. There's nothing to break it up, nothing to help draw the eye to areas. It's not pleasing. You want to have some pictures and some different columns and stuff in there. So this one or this one, the full width, are probably pretty close to what I normally do. So let's give it a try. And they've got it populated with stuff to show you how it's done. So you're not having to drag and drop everything in there, but you can. So you've got the content over here, so we could add all types of stuff. So we can do a box test, and now we've added this. We just fill it out. There's all kinds of ways you can customize it. So just because you choose a template doesn't mean you're stuck with that. You can go add and delete all kinds of stuff to it. You're not just editing the pictures, the links, and the message. So we'll replace this with our logo. Do this one for now. And you can go in and edit it. So that seemed kind of big. You can crop it. There's all kinds of stuff you can do to it, folks. So we'll resize it. Keep the dimensions locked in so it looks good. We'll try it half size, see how that looks. I mean, you want to have a big logo, but it still seems a little large, so we'll shrink it down a little bit more. Do 300. Alright, that looks a little better. Pretty easy to read. Stands out on the white. I normally wouldn't do white, but we're just going to make a very basic, quick email. You know, all right, so we'll put something real basic like that in. Let's see if we can change the size. What are we at? It's a little small. Try to keep it all in one line there. That'll look a little better. There we go. So this basic title, what we're doing, and you'll want to build different templates for different things. You could have one that's for brand new people, and that's usually what I do. I have a basic template for everything. So like when I made my May template, it basically had the same message, but then I edited a little bit for asset managers. I edited a little bit for everyone else, and then I edited a little bit for brand new people. That way people know how they've connected with me, why they're getting it, and then, you know, later on they don't need that explanation. They're either, you know, reading it or they've unsubscribed or whatever. You're not, you know, but you want to have, you don't want to just send out everything to everyone. Customize a little bit and you'll have a better response rate. So thanks for joining. You'd want to put your message here, like, what do you guys do? So something like that. I mean, definitely have more than one sentence. You know, here, put in something else. And, you know, you want to break it up. So if we just had literally all of our text here, black on white with no boxes or anything else, it's going to be really hard to read. So this helps takes it up. So we could put, we don't even have to put a bunch of text in here. It could literally just be like, you know, about us. Save and close. And you don't have to worry. MailChimp saves very frequently. And each time you go in and you click something and you're editing it and you hit save, it'll save it. And it even says down here, like, it saves it every 20 seconds. So if something happens, you should still be okay. Shouldn't have to start completely over. And then we'll put our picture here. We're going to... Here we go. Then you can have a caption there if you want to or not. You know, whatever you want to put there. And then over here we'll put a little bit. I'll put a little bit of something about myself. And just, you know, a little blurb. It doesn't have to be super long, but put a little something in there about yourself. You know, especially if you're the face of the business, people want to know who they're doing business with. You know, yeah, you're doing business with Totes and Notes, but you're also doing business with me. I'm the portfolio manager. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm the one that makes the decisions. So, you know, it needs to be about me, and I need to be on there. You know, you want more than this, but this is very basic. You could put something else on there, what else you do, you know, if you've done fix and flips, whatever, but very basic. And so we would probably on this want to have, you know, obviously we need to have more here about what we do, but that would basically be your very generic, absolute minimum amount of information you want to have on there. You want to have, you know, the business logo needs to be prominent. You need to have why you're reaching out to them, what you do, how you can help, and then you need to talk a little bit about yourself and the business, have a picture of yourself on there, talk about yourself. And then down here, you want to make sure you have this, even if you're not that active on social media or you're just spooling up, you want to have all that information on here. And you can move these around in whatever order you like. You can remove them. And they've got just about everything on here. So you go to add another service, email, so people can click on that and email. Now that being said, if they're getting the email, I put it on there, but they really don't need it because they should be able to just reply. Your website, you want to have that on there. So you'd also want to put LinkedIn on here. And you want to make sure and go through that all of your stuff works and that you're putting in the correct links. I like to put my LinkedIn profile also on my picture, so they can click my picture and it'll take them to my LinkedIn profile. Up here on the logo, make sure to put your website if you have one. I try to make this as interactive as possible for people. And so you get all of your social media and all your different contact stuff down there so they can click on that. And that's basically the bare minimum of what you'd want to have on like an intro email. You know, if you can put some more pictures in there, definitely put in a little bit more information, but this would be the basic setup of something, and this would work. So, hit save and close. You can even do a preview and test, which I highly suggest. So, you can go to preview mode. I really don't care about looking at preview mode. I know what's going to look like by looking it off of here, but definitely send a test email. So, and you know, I usually send a test email to my wife, my personal email, and my work email just to make sure it's working. And yeah, you can send another email and you can list a bunch of stuff. And then you can go look at it. So let's see if it came in. Okay, we're still waiting for it to come in. But yeah, you definitely want to look at it, and then when you get it, click on all the different things that are supposed to link so you know that it's working. It'll happen sometimes where it's not working. That's, you know, it is what it is. It's better than nothing. But try to make sure it's working. And once you get several templates that are working, it makes it a lot easier because then you're just going and customizing a few things, and all your stuff should work. So we'll save and exit. All right. So here was the first issue I did, and here's the intro version of it, of the most recent setup. So this was to all the people back in April when I did the first kind of magazine style issue. It was the April issue focusing on Ohio. And this was the intro one, so I even have an intro, you know, area here. And, you know, I've got my little blurb, totes of notes, you know, newsletters here to help keep you informed. Use my tagline, turning bad loans into good money. And then intro, you know, I tell them who I am, what we do, and why they're receiving it. It's really important. You want people to know who you are and why they're getting this. If you don't tell them why, they may not remember that you connected with them on LinkedIn or that you met them somewhere. They may think that you're spamming them. And so it's just an extra little bit of insurance in case they don't want to be involved. They can't be like, oh, well, you just, you know, paid someone or you randomly spammed me. No, we connected professionally somehow. If you don't want to get it, that's fine. I'll absolutely remove you. No hard feelings. But you're not going to just yell at me and, you know, try to break and say that I broke, you know, spam laws. By just randomly, you know, emailing people, because that's not true. So this part is added to, that's different than just my non-asset manager email or my asset manager email. I've got this intro in there for all new people. Then I've got our basic what's our deal, you know, what we do, and then this was the Ohio collection. This stuff was customized specifically for that month. And so you want to have something like that. At a minimum, I would definitely have an intro, an asset manager, and a non-asset manager, just regular email. And then you just edit those each month. And change the pictures, change the links, things like that. And it'll make your life a lot easier. And then, you know, if you want to make a special email, like a Valentine's Day email, St. Patrick's Day, like what I did, And here we go. We got my St. Patrick's regular and then my asset manager one. So depending on who you were, how I have you segmented, that's what you received. If you want to do that, then you've got plenty of time to do it because you're not making each email by hand. Each time you're not making it from scratch. You have your basic ones, and then you can customize it. If a movie comes out that you like and you want to do a theme, great. But you're not. You don't have to do that for every single one, and it makes it a little bit easier. And once you spend some time around with this, it's a lot easier. Now this one took some time because I put all these silly puns in there for St. Patrick's Day. But if you're just changing the generic layout and looks, you can copy and paste a lot of your previous data. And you don't have to worry about losing. Like if you want to edit something, it allows you to make a duplicate of it. So we can go here and you can replicate it and you can create a new one. It'll have a new name. You don't have to worry about messing up your previous template that you like. Alright, so now that you've made your template, let's go to campaigns and I'll show you how you're putting it together. We'll cover lists last, but obviously you have to have lists of people to send out your campaigns.